Now, I want to start off today by giving some actual information on coronavirus. We're all going to we do this on the show always anyway. We start off with information and then we get to the opinion of it all. Some useful information for you about coronavirus. So right now, one of the biggest problems with coronavirus is we actually don't know all that much about it. Most people don't know the symptoms. They feel like, okay, if my nose starts to run, if I have a dry cough, does this mean that I have coronavirus? The answer is, in all likelihood, no. You probably just have allergies, right? It's the middle of March. The chances are very high that you just have a normal cold or you have allergies. So there's a good article in the New York Times today by a woman named Nuval Sheikh talking about the differences between coronavirus and allergies and what you should be looking for. And this is good to know because honestly, it's hard not to go to the most paranoid place. You start feeling a little bit ill, and you're like, oh my God, I've got coronavirus, and now I've infected the entire planet. My entire family is at risk. Here are the symptoms that you should be looking for. You have to consider the time of year. According to the New York Times, allergies and influenza tend to be seasonal. If you have a runny nose in the spring, and this happens every year, allergies are the likeliest culprit. You may have noticed last week that I had a bit of a cough. I knew it wasn't coronavirus because I get a cough literally this time every single year. Plus, I had fasted. Plus, I'm not sleeping because of the new baby. If it's winter and flu is raging in your community, then that is the probable explanation. The flu is far more widespread than coronavirus. If you have flu-like symptoms in warming weather in a place with documented coronavirus transmission, then maybe it's not. The flu. Influenza does tend to tie back in the summer. We don't know yet whether coronavirus is going to do the same thing, especially because, as the Times points out, there have been coronavirus infections spreading in places like Singapore and in the southern hemisphere, which are currently experiencing summer temperatures. Also, consider where the symptoms first started appearing. According to one doctor, it's usually your nose and eyes where you develop symptoms of seasonal allergies. The seasonal flu is more likely to affect your whole body, as is the case for many other respiratory viruses, including coronavirus. So if you have a fever, headache, muscle aches, then you should be considering whether it's flu or coronavirus. If instead you're just getting, runny nose, itchy eyes, then in all likelihood you just have allergies or maybe you just have a cold. It's hard to tell the difference between flu and coronavirus, but the difference between a cold and a flu, we all know. And so if it feels more like a cold than it feels like the flu, the chances that you actually have coronavirus really, really slim. So there's a little bit of information for you. Also, not very many people are experiencing nausea or vomiting. About 5% of patients with coronavirus, only 4% are developing diarrhea. So those are symptoms sort of more typical flu. So fever would be the first one, right? This is why everybody's being tested for fever, body aches, fever, chills, right? That would be the stuff where you start to worry. Even then, only if it starts to get bad enough that you're starting to have shortness of breath, should you really consider going in for a test. According to the New York Times, pay close attention to whether your symptoms worsen over time. Discomfort due to allergy remains consistent until you treat it or the allergen goes away. Symptoms of the flu tend to resolve in about a week, but the new coronavirus seems to cause more severe symptoms than the average seasonal flu, seems to have a higher fatality rate. If you're elderly, you have other health conditions, then obviously you got to be quicker to get a test. If you are younger and you're experiencing this sort of stuff, then you're probably supposed to stay home unless it gets a little bit more severe. Mild cases of the flu resolve by themselves within a few days. Coronavirus tends to last a little bit longer, but most people with mild cases tend to get better in about 2 weeks. So there's a little bit of information for you. If you're not feeling great today, then think about that description of symptoms and see sort of which one it fits. Did you know that every like on this video creates one additional leftist tier? Don't ask me why. That's called science. To take advantage of this amazing opportunity, hit the like button.